Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a quick TouchDesigner tutorial. It's a beginner's tutorial. We're going to be making this kind of audio reactive project where you use your face to control some sounds. So let's get started. So first things first, when you open TouchDesigner, this is what you'll see. It's kind of like a default project that comes up when you open TouchDesigner. So before we do anything, I kind of want to set the our workspace here to be what I like. So I'm going to split the screen into two, and then I kind of want to see this as I want this to show like the output that I'm seeing all the time. So if you see here, if I click any blue dot, you'll see the output on the background, right? So instead of seeing the output on the background in the back of the network editor, I kind of just wanted to see in the screen and nowhere else. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to split the screen, which I've already done, and then I'm going to change this to top viewer. Okay, cool. So we can see it here. Top, just like I explained in the workshop, is a family of operators. We have several families here. Top, chop, sop, matte, dat, and custom. So top here is the texture operator, and it deals with anything that's like a video or an image file, and everything that's a top renders on the GPU, so it's a lot quicker and it doesn't slow down your system as much. So if you're working with images or videos, try to use top as much as possible. Yeah, cool. So I'm just gonna take the kind of top viewer behind this off because it's quite annoying now that we have that. So what I do is go display, so right click, display, and then hello, backdrop tops. Cool, and now it's gone. Cool. So I'm just cool. So yeah, so this is how I like to set it. I'm just going to move this a little bit so it's a little bit smaller. Nice. And now what we're going to do is we're going to delete everything here because we don't need any of it. So we're going to delete this here. And to delete, you right-click your mouse, hold right-click, and then drag, and then just press delete on your keyboard, like that. Cool. So, there's two parts to our project. The first part is getting our face data into TouchDesigner, and the second part is using that to manipulate sounds. So let's start with the first part. So I'm going to get my MediaPipe file. So I've downloaded it here. Oh, hello. No, I did not download it there. I've downloaded it here. TouchDesigner, MediaPipe Toxes. Cool. So this is wherever you save it. So if you were at the workshop, you would have already downloaded all of this. If you haven't, I've also attached it to this email, so you can just go download from the GitHub. So what we're going to be using today is the MediaPipe Tox, and it's going to take a while to load. And the reason I picked TouchDesigner and MediaPipe to kind of show you guys today is because both of it's a free software. Unless you're using it for commercial purposes, then you have to pay a TouchDesigner's license. But it's free to begin with, and it's just a very simple, easy way to get your body data into a computer so you can play around with it, basically. Cool. So here's our MediaPipe. So behind MediaPipe is kind of like a machine learning model which tracks your face, your pose, and things like that. So there's your hands and body pose, and tracks objects. It thinks of a person and things like that. So it's very smart. This is actually normally used in Python, but some genius has also made it so it's used in TouchDesigner. It can be used in TouchDesigner as well, and that's also possible because TouchDesigner does run with like a Python interface. So if you do know how to code Python, it's very easy for you to learn to kind of like control TouchDesigner on a more granular basis. Anyway, let's get started. So as you can see here, there's a lot when you first import MediaPipe in. We don't need all of that, and we shouldn't use all of it at the same time, primarily because it's going to really slow down your computer. So let's turn it all off. Cool. So this is where you select your input and stuff like that. So I have my virtual camera and all that, but this is what I'm going to be using right now. Here you can see that the image is flipped to kind of like what my webcam is. So I'm just going to flip it so it's the same as my webcam. Here we go. It's flipped, but it doesn't look like it's flipped. It looks like it only flipped the overlay and not my background. So I'm just going to reset it. Sometimes it just kind of gets a bit confused. There we go. Now the whole thing is flipped. So now you should be able to see this the same as the video I have on the bottom right corner. Cool. So I'm just going to turn everything off except facial landmarks because that's all we need. That's off as well. Cool. Show overlay is just kind of like turns the overlay on and off. Cool. So now we have that. So now we have our face detected. So now that we have our face detected, we want to take the face data out into something that we can deal with. So luckily, in the MediaPipe folder that we've downloaded, there's another component called face tracking, which allows us to do just that. It kind of just takes the face data. And how you get it out of this kind of like tracking components is you see the outputs here. There's several outputs in MediaPipe. All of it's different color. So the green is chops, which you can see here. Chops is green. These are DATs. So data, so it stands for data. So if you connect this to a data, you can see that to a DAT, you can see like the specific, like the individual data points and stuff like that. Cool. So the output of MediaPipe, there's a lot of them. There's face landmarks, there's hands, there's pose and stuff like that. So you just need to make sure you're using the correct one. So today we're going to be using face landmarks. So we're going to connect face landmarks to face tracking, which we put in. And cool. So now the data from the model that's MediaPipe's like using to track is being pulled into this operator called face tracking, which is again also in the folder when we downloaded it. And now we can deal kind of with the individual data point. It's just like a convenient transformer for like transformer interface for us, basically. Cool. So now that we have that, we're just going to pause that for now and get some audio files just to be ready. Cool. So to get our audio files, to get our audio, I'm just going to use the audio from scratch, but you can also like import audio files or whatever. So what you want to do is you want to add an operator. Now to add an operator, that's kind of not like, you know, dragging it in from an external source file. You can do right click, add operator, like that, or you can also do keyboard shortcut tab. So I'll just press tab here and you'll see that. Cool. So because sound is a single audio channel, like all audios are kind of like single band stuff and not like a matrix like a picture would be. It's in a chop because chop stands for channel operators. It's kind of like individual channels because sound is kind of like one continuous waves. It's in chop. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get audio oscillator, and that just gives us like a basic sine wave. Cool. So you can't hear anything right now because sound's being generated, but it's not connected to your speakers. So what we're going to do is we're just going to connect it to our speakers just to check that it's playing. So to do that, you just drag from the output here and then press tab. Cool. And then find audio device out. There we go. audio device out. So now you should hear a very kind of like constant tone, right? And we can change that tone by clicking here, and you can see the parameters here. And the parameters are always there, as you can see if you switch from one to another. If you want to turn this off, just press P on your keyboard and it'll go away, and press back. I'll come back as well. Cool. So we can change the frequency of the sound. So that's lower, higher, lower, or amplitude, which is how loud the sound is. Cool. I'm going to pause this for now, just because it's quite annoying. Okay, so now that we have the sound, and you can see that we can manipulate the amplitude or the frequency, right? Here I'm manipulating it by hand, but ideally we want to use kind of like these data points to manipulate it, and that's literally the big, like all of it, right? We're just using points here to manipulate these parameters. So how we're going to do that is that here you can see loads of points. We can't use all of them. We have to select specific ones to use because there's only, you know, however many parameters, right? So how are we going to do that? So to do that, first we need to separate each of these points into individual channels, then use individual channels to directly manipulate these parameters like amplitude or base frequency here. So to do that, we're gonna have to convert from kind of like this image operator thing with all of the data into single channels. So to do that, here you see the green outputs here. Luckily the creators of MediaPipe into TouchDesigner have already thought of that. You can just connect this green thing here into something called select. So select, the select chop operator, allows you to select specific channels, basically. Yeah, cool. And yeah, just to reiterate again, you can connect like the same colored output to the same colored input. So like green to green or purple to purple. You can't connect like different families together. So you can't connect purple directly to green. You can't do that. So it's not going to let me. To do that, you need kind of like another converter parameter component, right? Like this. This is a converter parameter component. It allows you to take in pink and convert it to other types of things. So that's why you can connect it in this case. Cool. So if you can see here, you'll see loads of channels, right? So these are all the points in my face. Yeah, if I move around, the channel will change, blah, 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 blah. So because we don't want to use all of these, we want to select specific ones. We're using a select chop. So I'm gonna use, okay, let's see what we can use. Right, to see everything, we can go to here and then select channel names, and you can see loads of channels here that just comes outright, right? This jaw forward, jaw left, I don't want to use that one. Jaw open, cheek puff, that kind of thing, mouth pucker, or whatever. There's a lot of silly faces in this video. I'm going to select jaw open just because I like that one because it's quite obvious. So let's do that. Jaw open. Cool. So, oh, hello. Okay. So we can also rename it. So we can rename jaw open to F1 jaw open to just jaw open. Ah, cool. Okay, so now we can use the channel jaw open to manipulate our sound. So let's see our sounds. So it's good to keep your network kind of organized when you're working. I have not been great at that, but I do try to. So I'm just going to move this here and put my audio device out here because that's the output. And we want to, again, use jaw open to manipulate the channel here. And how we do that is that we select which one we want to manipulate, right? So I want to manipulate bass frequency here. So I'm just going to drag this parameter. I'm literally clicking on it, dragging on it, and putting it onto this, just right there. Yeah, cool. And you'll see this line kind of comes up. And here is red, and it has a big cross sign because it's very cross at us. So if you click on the big cross sign, you'll see kind of the error messages coming here. Float must be a string or real number, not a select chop. So what it's saying is that to manipulate this has to be a number rather than an operator. So currently it's selecting this entire thing, and you can see there's 2 channels here, right? It's not selecting one channel, one number. So we're going to have to tell it that we want this one channel and we want the number in this channel, right? So to do this, we use this syntax. We do square brackets, and we do these like parentheses here, which like is a string or a name instead of a command. And then we just do the name. So we renamed it to draw open, so we can just do draw open. Cool. And then you can see things move, and then the error is gone now. So if we play it, you still won't hear any sound. That's fine. That's purely because if you can see the bass frequency here, it's very, very small. And that's because the scale of the points for MediaPipe is different from like the scale of sounds. So if you remember just now, it was kind of like 300 to something. So we're just going to scale that. And to do that, we literally, because this is just code, it's a math equation, we just times by, let's pick a random number. Let's put 1000. Cool. So now, so you see that if my jaw opens and closes, this changes. And because of times by 1000, you can now hear the changes, right, in the bass frequency. Ooh. Oh, I just forgot. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we have that now. Very, very, very simple, right? Oh, sorry, I forgot to play it. So don't forget to play it. If your sound disappears or something disappears, not not what you expected, just remember you're actually playing it. Cool. Okay. So you can do as many of these as you want. So let's try do another one. So I'm going to copy and paste. There we go. I'm going to copy and paste this. So this is another channel. Let's go crazy. Let's do a square wave. So obviously these are very simple waveforms. You can like do more complex waveforms if you want. And let's do another channel. Let's do I blink left. Cool. Yeah, I blink left. Awesome. And let's rename that as well. So to rename multiple channels, just space F1, I blink left, and then just space, and then like blink left. I'm just gonna do that. Cool. So now I blink left is renamed to blink left. So make sure that these orders are kind of like the right order. Yeah. So these have to match. Cool. So let's put I blink left and use that to manipulate the bass frequency as well. Oh, no. Blink left is where we have. Cool. Cool. Let's try play that. Let's maybe turn off the amplitude. Oh, okay, right. Sorry. You won't be able to hear it because I haven't connected it to our speaker. So let's do that. Cool. Okay, cool. So you'll see just now that the speaker, you can only connect one sound wave at a time. So what we want to do is combine both of these, so that is kind of like one performance, right? So how we're going to do that, we're literally going to add it together. So we're going to use a math operator. Cool. And you can literally add as many as you want. So you put in here, and then you use the math to there. Cool. And the math basically just combine things together, right? And you see it's combining audio oscillator 1 and audio oscillator 2. Cool. So if we play that now. Cool. Cool, right? Yeah, so that's like a very, very simple project. It takes barely any time. So the last thing we want to do is that when we're performing, we want people to also see this as well, right? Because that's kind of cool. So to do that, is very simple. Out of MediaPipe, you can see this purple thing here. So that's an output top. So you literally can connect that to something like null. Yeah. Cool. So a null, it's just like a container for things. So it's just so that if, one connection breaks before that, not everything breaks. If you're familiar with coding, it's kind of like a parameter for your output. So you can see my face here. And what you can do now is that you can view it here, because we have a top viewer on that we set ages ago. Cool. But you can see here that the background, there's nothing in the background, so I kind of always like to have a background. So to do that, we're just going to connect the null to something called a transform. So you see here it autos to top now because it's it's from a top, so it thinks you're going to a top, which is normally the case. So transform here, and you'll see the parameters here called background color. So this is RGBA, red, blue, green, alpha. Alpha is kind of like your transparency channel. So now it's set to 0, which is why there's nothing in the background. So we're just going to set this to 1. And then we're just going to set this on. Cool. So here's a background now. And obviously you can change the color if you want, but I want to keep it black. And we're just going to turn this on, so blue dot instead of this one. We're just going to turn that off. There we go. Okay, so we have that now, and then if I press play again, I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. Cool. So that's basically everything you need to know about starting a project in TouchDesigner. Yeah, play around with it, see how you go. If you make anything cool, feel free to send it to me or let me know, or tag us so I can see it on our socials. Yeah, have fun. Feel free to ask me any questions as well. But yeah, I just want to show you how simple and easy it is to kind of get your body data into TouchDesigner, so you can make something kind of like cool with it, right? Yeah, and just to remind you, with MediaPipe, it doesn't have to just be your face data. There's loads of different data, so make sure you play around with it. I've put the link to the documentation in the email as well. Cool. I hope to see you at some point. Bye.